What's up guys, it's RaddiCraft here, and in this quick tip video I'm going to show you how I paint quick and easy but still great looking leather on my miniatures. So hang tight and let's get started. This is RaddiCraft. Alright, so we have our model here ready for painting some leather. There's lots of different leather bits here around the model, the straps, the holster, and the pouch is there and so on. But I think we're gonna paint the holster here, since I think that's quite nice and central, easy to showcase you how the technique I use works. And for this we're going to be using these 4 paints. So we're going to start with the base coat of Steel Legion Drab. We're going to use Agrax Earthshade. We're going to use Baneblade Brown. And we're going to use matte white. Optionally you can also use some black. I generally just use my airbrush black because that's what I have and that's what I use the most. So we're going to start the painting by getting some thinned down Steel Legion Drab and base coating all of the leather areas using that. I'm using a rather light base coat here before the Steel Legion Drab, so it gives quite a nice coverage already with just one coat. But especially if you're doing this over the top of, for example, like a black primer or something like that, you might need to do 2 separate coats. It took me about 2 thin coats to get a nice coverage like I have here. Then we are ready to move on to the next part. In this part we're going to wash the leather areas using Agrax Earthshade from Citadel. We're using the paint straight out of the pot. We don't need to thin it down or anything like that for our purposes, because we're aiming for quite a thick wash here. It is of course ideal to avoid getting any sort of pooling by spreading out your wash evenly, but even on this video I did get one of those nasty pools, as you can see here. I'm pointing it out up there. Luckily it is not super visible, and since we're doing another coat of Agrax Earthshade we're able to hide a lot of the damage done there either way, so it's not too dangerous to get small pooling using this method. And once more we're doing another really thick coat of Agrax Earthshade. Here I'm spreading the paint out a little bit to avoid the pools once more, and by doing 2 thick coats we are able to get some nice deep color variation into the brown, kind of cheating a little bit to get a really nice finish already from just these 2 washes. Now that the brown is dried, or the wash is dried rather, you can see how sort of a deep result we get with just 2 washes. There's lots of variation in the texture and it looks really good. Next up we are going to edge highlight our leather. We start by doing it in Steel Legion Drab, and after that we do it in Baneblade Brown. Both are colors by Citadel. Sometimes I skip the Steel Legion Drab edge highlight if I'm in a hurry or if I'm looking to, for example, do just some quick tabletop models, but here I decided to show the whole process. And when we're highlighting with the Baneblade Brown, such as we're doing here, we can start already having these little sorts of breaks in the highlights. We're still highlighting nearly everything, but we're leaving in little breaks to give some texture to the edges of the leather, like it was worn in battle or something like that. And you can best see it here, how I'm doing this sort of a skipping edge highlight. After we're done with our second round of edge highlights, we're going to create a mix of Baneblade brown and white, creating this sort of a nice cream color. And we're going to keep doing even more selective edge highlights using this color. Again, remembering to use this sort of a stippling motion to start giving it that real feel of wear and tear that the leather would have had in battle. These highlights I try to focus even more on the areas that would naturally catch the light. Then, as you can see, we mix an even lighter cream color, adding in more white. And this is our final highlight, so we do even more limited scratching and edge highlights onto the edges. Next, we're going to start doing some larger scratches to our leather areas. We use Baneblade brown to do this. The paint is really thinned down, so it flows nicely, and it is a little bit transparent as well, which works fine for this. Try not to think too much when you apply it, so it'll look natural and not like you actually placed it there. Then we're going to our second mix, so Baneblade with a little bit of white, and we're focusing these highlights closer to the edges of the leather areas. Finally, we are going to add even more white. This is pretty much the same color that we used for the final edge highlights, and we're just going to dab a little bit of the paint right where the edge and the scratch meet. Now you could leave it at that, and in fact even I sometimes do that, but I decided that I'd show the final kind of an extra step that you can do if you wished. So here we've mixed some black paint with Steel Legion Drab, and we're going to add some even deeper dents, creating this sort of a three-dimensional dent. And we do this only to the largest of the dents. It wouldn't look good on the smaller ones in my opinion. And be neat, apply it above the highlight that you did, and voila, it should look perfect. So now the leather is fully complete. Remember that you can skip things, you can stop earlier, you don't have to go this far with every model in your army, but for characters etc. it does look really nice. So that's it for this time. Hopefully you enjoyed my tutorial on how to paint leather on your miniatures. If you have any other quick techniques or quick things that you'd like me to show how I paint them, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to feed the algorithm by liking, subscribing, commenting, all that sort of stuff. But apart from that, I think that does it for today, so I'll see you next time. Raddi out.